Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. This is a good one. This happened to me, and this is probably one of my biggest pieces of advice in this video. If you're a cyclist, hiker, or just a walker, and you walk in the woods, listen to this. Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. This morning I'm really putting it out there because this is a tip, probably one of the biggest tips. Riding in the forest and hiking and biking. Now I'm down here in Southern California, so I'm kind of worried about people a lot, and I forget about the other thing. And the other thing that happened to me up in Northern California, and I'll tell you about that right now. So, we're always worried about people and things on bikes and cars hitting us and stuff like that. And I know a lot of you that do cycle in the mountains a lot have thought about this, and others, but mountain lions, okay, they're not right. You never see them. They're like, sometimes I even wonder if they're even there. But I wondered until one day like that, and here's what happened. I'm biking up on a place called Skyline Boulevard in the Bay Area. So it's kind of a mountainous area in between the coast and the bay, and so it's real forested, lots of big trees and redwoods, and it's incredible. And so anyway, I used to ride up there a lot. My folks lived down in Half Moon Bay, and I would ride up this trail. But anyway, I was living up in those mountains for 1 year, and riding up in those woods a lot. And I was like, it was always a little freaky, and there's signs that say mountain lion, and it gives you tips and things like that. So, I always heard, like bears, I'm used to bears, sort of. Alaska, I've had some bear encounters. And, you make yourself visible and, hey, bear, scare the bear off. Usually they just kind of turn around and walk off. Mountain lions are a little different, I found out. And I'm going to tell you why I think this is, or I know it's true. So they're a little more like stalkers. I'm riding on that trail. Now, I've been riding on it for a couple of weeks at this point. And, just getting that weird feeling. And I heard something in the bushes rustling around a couple times, and it makes me just take off. But here's what happened one particular time. I'm riding downhill. So, I've got the speed going on, but way down the hill, I see a mountain lion cross the trail. And it was just like a whoosh, flash. But I knew it was a mountain lion. I was positive it was the color, and it was sleek, and it was like, boom, right across the trail, and I just caught it. So I stopped, and I was like, holy crap, what a trip. That was a mountain lion. Do I go back up the hill? There's a long way back up. And I'm like, oh, shit. And so I stand there for a minute, and I heard it up in the trees, like down the trail, rustling around. So it got up in the tree above the trail a little bit. So not right overhead, but the trees actually covered the trail. And so it's up in there rustling around. I'm like, that sucker's getting ready to jump down on me or something. So, I said, screw it. I'm going to hike back up with the bike a little bit and just, think about this. So I was like, still, my adrenaline is just raging, and I'm hiking uphill, and then I turn around and I see it dart down, back in the trail, and then down the trail a little bit. So it's kind of down there rustling around like it's waiting for me. And so for the longest time, I didn't hear it, and I thought, well, what do I do? Get back into my, reach into my tool bag of tricks and things to do. And so what I did, and I'd heard about, you got to make yourself big and all this kind of stuff. I needed to get down that trail. It was going to get dark. If I would have went back up, it would have been worse. And who knows how many more mountain lions are up, and it's getting dark. Here's a tip: dark, when it's dawn or dusk, don't be out hiking or biking if you can help it. Just a tip. Probably nothing will happen, but that's the time they're going to be out. So anyway, here's what I did. I got off my bike. I took out a tarp. If you're cycling and you're touring, you're probably going to have a tarp. But if you don't, you have a coat or anything. Now, I was lucky. I had my tent poles. So I just took 2 tent poles. Now, what would I have used? I would have used 2 sticks probably. So I took my 2 tent poles and then sleeved over the tarp, tied it on the top. So it was like 2 poles with a big It was like a big panel, right? And I just had that on me, right, like a flag. Believe me, it was not perfect, and it was kind of, all I wanted was something big, you know, and wide around me. And so after a while, I just kind of cruised down the trail, but I went not fast. I didn't want it to chase me, and also didn't want to go slow. So I got up the courage, and I just went down the trail holding my bike, and I had this thing like a flag, and I'm like, yeah. And I just made myself loud and visible. Loud and visible is what I did. Now, I got through there and nothing happened. I never saw the mountain lion or anything, but here's the tips. You've got to listen to the tips. Don't leave yet. Tips are, like I said, make yourself visible and loud. Don't crouch down. Don't approach it. And don't be aggressive. Make noise. Don't run. That's the thing with bears, too. Do not run. Do everything you can to gather up your wits and get creative to save your life, like I did, and make something to wave around and all that. Anyway, dusk, dawn, forested areas, stay, if you can, stay out there in the daytime. I'm down here in Southern California. I'm more worried about people, but there's mountain lions here, too. This video, and it's helping out. Please like and subscribe, and I have more tips and more stories coming. Thanks for watching.